Over the past few years, we've seen the work of Black science fiction writers reach new heights. It's happened in almost every corner of entertainment. Jordan Peele ushered in a genre that blended horror and science fiction with his critically acclaimed films Get Out and also Us. Screenwriter Misha Green blended science fiction and social commentary with her TV adaptation of Lovecraft Country on HBO, which was amazing, by the way. And now more and more Black authors are diving into a genre that's long lacked diversity, like Stone Abdullah, who self-published his science fiction urban fantasy novel, Journey of the Shadow, back in 2017. And currently, he's working on publishing the second installment of the series, Darkness Falls. Joining me now is science fiction writer Stone Abdullah. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you so much, Zerlina. It's an honor to be here.
So tell us about Journey of the Shadow. How did you come up with this plot, and who are the characters in it?
Oh my goodness, Journey of the Shadow. That's an idea I had 20 years in the making. I'll tell you this: I had a dream way back in the day about this unbelievable goddess, and I said, "Man," I woke up and I had chills. I said, "Man, we've got to write this story." And this was during a time where a lot of my scientific aspirations were developing too. So I said, well, let's not abandon that idea. Let's go through the college matriculation process. So I got my bachelor's in science and I started my PhD, et cetera. I did stuff at NASA, NOAA, and National Center for Atmospheric Research, et cetera, et cetera. But then, like you mentioned, in 2007, I finally published Volume 1. And the whole concept behind Journey of the Shadow is that you have this young man, as you see here. He's 19 years old. He's Commander Sumisu of the shadowy warrior clan, the Sansai clan, and this is modern day Earth. And Sumisu's got a lot on his shoulders. He knows his job. He's got these incredible supernatural powers. But like many of us, we have a little bit of an existential crisis. And there's no need to go into 2020 and what that did to us. But what I see reflected from myself through the main character, Commander Sumisu, is that even though he has these powers, he wonders why he has them, who gifted to them, and then what purpose is he serving, right? And then he encounters all these extraordinary individuals, like his best friend, Chujin Iwado, who so happens to be a chosen one from an extraterrestrial civilization. And then he encounters all of these, you guys can see, there's all these phenomenal, strong, powerful women that are, quote unquote, beyond the moon. And the premise and a really overarching theme behind Journey of the Shadow is that no matter where you are on Earth or in the galaxy, no one is spared from adversities. And many individuals, regardless of their background and their understanding or their knowledge, they can come together to solve a common problem. And they don't look at each other's weaknesses as that explicitly. They look at that as an opportunity for that person to grow, right? And so that capitalization is really facilitated by these amazing women behind me. And all that's predicated by a lot of amazing women that impacted me in my life, my mother especially, God rest her soul. And I think Journey of the Shadow really touches on those topics of looking at each other as human beings in a better light. Sure, this is a scientific approach. Sure, we're talking about extraterrestrials and whatnot, but the meaning applies. It's the same, that we look at each other with a higher degree of dignity. We treat women with a higher degree of respect. I mean, for crying out loud, in Journey of the Shadow, you can see behind me, the three women at the top. This is a matriarchal deity system. They're the three goddesses, the overseers of the universe. And I wanted to implement that in the story as a representation that, yes, empowerment, we need to bring that back within our own discussions and live that through our lives.
Well, I'm all for the matriarchy because the patriarchy is not, I am not a fan of it. I just have to say, I'm not happy every day when I have to paint my face to sit in front of this camera when men don't have to do that. Okay? No, I like makeup. It's fine. But the point is I think, thinking and envisioning a world that we're not living in, but that can teach us lessons about the one we are living in. I mean, why do you think sci-fi is such a good vehicle for that?
I think it's a good vehicle because it allows the individual to explore more abstractionisms versus what human beings stray away from, which is the explicit, right? Science fiction has many dimensions to, try to extrapolate from for example, nanotechnology or extraterrestrials or genetic modification or what have you. But science fiction allows us to talk about these topics that may seem uncomfortable, from person to person or societal topics. But you can take those topics and then you can expand upon them in a sense of abstraction. Creativity is an abstraction of reality in the first place. But science fiction allows you to have a few more tools, I should say, a few more creative tools to have those discussions and write those themes within your manuscripts. And that's a principal function that I wanted to bring within Journey of the Shadow, is to give people another outlook, give them another form of observation, if you will. And I will mention this, that my father, most principally, God rest his soul, he told me, son, wherever you go on the earth, give people life. I wanted to give people life, more importantly, through this story. I wanted to bring them into another world where they can look at life in a different perspective and they can see the value of themselves as these characters bring value to each other and as these characters empower each other. I think that's an overarching thing that I want to execute with Journey of the Shadow and beyond, because there's a lot more books coming.
Oh, I look forward to those. And I think anybody at home, if you've ever wanted to write sci-fi or write a story that you had a dream about, I have a weird dream every now and again, write it down. You never know. Stone Abdullah, it's been so great to have you. Thank you so much for joining me. I got to nerd out, and I really appreciated this conversation.